It's never a Friday the 13th that frightens us. However, on August 9, 2024, a Friday, tragedy turned the sky over Vinhedo, Sao Paolo, into a grim scene. A seemingly routine flight by Voepass, operated by an ATR-72, turned into a nightmare when the aircraft suddenly crashed, claiming the lives of the 62 people on board. On this fateful day, Brazil witnessed one of the greatest air disasters in its recent history. What seemed like an ordinary flight became a devastating event. However, this accident is not an isolated case in the context of global aviation. Hello and welcome to the Enigma Vision channel. Today, we will delve into the details of this tragic accident and revisit other air disasters that have marked history. From Air France Flight 447 to the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines MH370. Get ready for a journey through the skies, where safety and danger often walk hand in hand. The Vinhedo accident. What we know! So far, on August 9, 2024, Flight 2283, operated by the Brazilian airline Voepass, departed from Cascavel, Paraná, headed for Guarulhos International Airport in Sao Paolo, but never reached its destination. The usual duration for this route is about 2 hours. The ATR-72 quickly lost about 5 kilometers of altitude in less than 2 minutes before crashing into a residential area in Vinhedo. The aircraft, which crashed belly first into the ground, had its passenger cabin crushed, according to firefighters. The occupants died amidst the tangled metal, and a subsequent fire incinerated the bodies. The plane was a twin-engine model from the Franco-Italian manufacturer ATR, specifically the 72-500, with 2 propellers, 27 meters in length, and a capacity for 68 passengers. It was manufactured in France. According to ATR, it reaches a maximum cruising speed of 510 kilometers per hour. The aircraft lost contact with controllers at 1:22 p.m. local time, and the crew never declared an emergency or reported being under adverse weather conditions, according to the Brazilian Air Force. However, there are reports that the pilot requested a descent due to ice formation, and the control refused.
O passaredo pediu para descer por causa da formação de gelo, o controle negou. E aí deu tudo essa merda aí.
Gente, passei por cima agora, pouco, faz 2 horas atrás. Pode contar, vai ser gelo que derrubou esse avião. Tava todo mundo reportando gelo severo.
The Air Force stated that the aircraft did not declare an emergency. The term Mayday is internationally recognized to indicate a serious emergency and is repeated 3 times to ensure that the message is received with the appropriate urgency. When a pilot says Mayday, Mayday on the radio, it means there is a grave emergency. In this case, the entire airspace around and the runway is cleared to give the aircraft in danger the highest priority. Whether it's a presidential flight or any other type of flight, the emergency aircraft has the maximum priority, and air traffic control does everything to ensure it can land safely. The use of Mayday is reserved for situations where life is at risk. For less critical situations, Pan is used to indicate an emergency that does not pose an immediate threat to life. Although the plane crashed near a residence, fortunately, there were no casualties on the ground. There was no time for reactions, and there were no survivors. The aircraft crashed at 1:25 p.m. and shortly after the accident, rescue teams arrived on the scene, but there were no survivors. The initial investigation points to the possibility of a stall, which occurs when the aircraft loses lift and can no longer fly. The causes are still under investigation, but there are indications that ice formation on the wings may have been one of the factors contributing to the stall. Ice formation, an invisible enemy. Ice formation is an invisible enemy that can develop at high altitudes, especially in adverse weather conditions. When ice accumulates on the wings, it reduces lift and increases drag, creating the perfect conditions for a stall. And the stall is when everything starts to go wrong. When ice forms on the wings or other surfaces of the aircraft, it alters the aerodynamics, reducing lift. In the case of this ATR-72 model, previous issues with ice formation may have been a factor leading to the fatal stall. The stall, what it is and why it's so dangerous. A stall occurs when the aircraft exceeds the maximum angle of attack and loses lift. The stall happens when the angle of attack of the aircraft, or the tilt of the wings relative to the airflow, exceeds a certain limit. When this happens, the wings lose their ability to generate lift and the plane starts to fall. Recovering from a stall can be difficult, especially at low altitudes, where the pilot's reaction time is limited. If the stall is not corrected in time, the aircraft can enter a flat spin, the most feared maneuver by pilots. Here, the aircraft begins to spin around its own axis while falling towards the ground. Recovery, especially at low altitude, is almost impossible. In the case of Vinhedo, the rapid loss of altitude suggests that the stall was sudden and unrecoverable. Flat spin, the most feared maneuver. A flat spin is a term used in aviation to describe a specific type of emergency maneuver known as a low-speed looping or spin or flat spin when the aircraft cannot regain control due to loss of lift and aerodynamics. This maneuver is extremely dangerous due to its accelerated spin and rapid descent characteristics. This was not the first and, unfortunately, will not be the last air disaster. The Center for Investigation and Prevention of Aeronautical Accidents (CENIPA) is analyzing the black boxes containing cockpit recordings and flight data. The black box is a crucial device in aircraft that records vital information about the flight. Despite its name, it is usually orange or red to make it easier to locate after an accident. There are two main types of black boxes: flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder. Flight data recorder records technical data of the aircraft, such as altitude, speed, direction, and control positions. Its purpose is to help understand the aircraft's performance and flight dynamics, especially in accidents. Cockpit voice recorder records conversations between pilots and ambient sounds in the cockpit, including communications with air traffic control. Its purpose is to provide information about pilot decisions and the cockpit environment during the flight. Black boxes are designed to withstand extreme conditions, such as severe impacts and high temperatures. They are generally installed in the rear of the aircraft, where there is less risk of damage in case of an accident. Black boxes are essential for accident investigations, helping to identify failures and prevent future incidents. One thing is certain, the investigation can take days, weeks, months, or even years to reach a conclusion. Other notable air disasters: Air France 447 2009. In 2009, an Air France Airbus A330 crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, killing all 228 people on board. The aircraft entered a stall after encountering ice formation that compromised the speed sensors. TAM 3050 for 2007, the largest air disaster in Brazil to date, with 199 fatalities. An Airbus A320 failed to stop on the Congonhas runway and collided with a building. The accident was caused by a combination of human error and mechanical failures. Malaysia Airlines MH370 2014. The mysterious disappearance of Flight MH370 raised global questions about flight safety and monitoring. To this day, the exact whereabouts of the aircraft are unknown, but it is widely accepted that it crashed into the Indian Ocean. Lessons learned and aviation safety today. In the midst of tragedy, remember, time is precious and uncertain. Love deeply and unreservedly, for those we love most can be taken from us at any moment. Cherish each moment, each hug, and each word, for love is what truly remains. Each of these accidents has resulted in significant changes in global aviation safety, from improved aircraft sensors to new pilot training protocols and more effective flight monitoring systems. These lessons have driven progress in aviation safety. The Vinhedo accident will be another landmark for aviation, forcing the industry to review procedures and ensure that tragedies like this are avoided in the future. Although flying is statistically one of the safest modes of transportation, accidents like Vinhedo remind us of the dangers that still exist. Each air disaster leaves us valuable lessons that must be studied and applied to make the skies even safer. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more videos about safety and air investigations, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Leave your comment with your thoughts on the Vinhedo accident and other air disasters. Share this video with friends and family so everyone can understand the importance of safety in the skies.